Tonight, we're traveling 5,000 miles south to the hills of Minas Gerais, Brazil, for a case that remains one of the most credible, disturbing, and fiercely debated events in modern UFO-UAP history, the Varginha incident. On January 20th, 1996, a seemingly ordinary night in the small, quiet city of Varginha exploded into chaos. The official story is that nothing happened, a few people saw a low-flying object, and the rest was mass hysteria, but the persistent, terrifying claims from multiple independent witnesses, including civilians, military, firemen, and doctors, suggest the truth is far darker. What really happened? Find out today on this episode of The Weekly Strange. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Weekly Strange. I'm your host, John F. Murs, author, actor, adventurer. The story is this. A UAP crashed in the forest outside Varginha. The Brazilian military, through a lightning-fast and brutal operation, recovered not just wreckage, but 2, possibly 3, non-human entities. This incident has all the hallmarks of a major cover-up, complete with strange, silent figures, a terrifying creature with oily red skin, and a pervasive, lingering fear in the community that survives to this day. But the Varginha incident didn't begin with a discovery. It began with a disaster high above the city. On the morning of January 20th, 1996, the first reports filtered in. Local residents and farmers reported seeing a massive, slow-moving object described as dark and cigar-shaped, flying erratically over the city, apparently in distress. Shortly thereafter, the object either crashed or experienced a major malfunction, leading to a loud, unconfirmed impact event somewhere near the dense woodlands outside Varginha. The official cover-up, according to researchers, was launched almost immediately. The first verifiable evidence of military activity came from 2 military firemen, brothers, who were ordered to the crash area. Their testimony, later given under conditions of anonymity, was chilling. They didn't find a crashed airplane. They found strange, twisted metallic debris and, crucially, a small, injured creature wandering near the wreckage. The creature was allegedly captured and placed in a wooden crate by the firemen, who then transferred it to a military vehicle. This was the first silent operation, the initial recovery of the physical evidence. The case escalated from a military recovery to a widespread public panic in the hours that followed, thanks to the most famous witnesses in the entire incident, 3 young women. In the late afternoon of January 20th, cousins Liliane Silva and Valkyria Silva and their friend Katia Xavier were walking through a vacant lot on the outskirts of Varginha, taking a shortcut home. What they encountered was not something from the sky, but something hiding in the tall grass, something alive. The 3 women were confronted by a creature squatting against a wall, apparently injured, silent and deeply unsettling. The 3 independent accounts of the creature are remarkably consistent. It was described as being small, no more than 3 to 4 feet tall. It had a large, oversized head and a very thin, frail body. Its skin was described as a reddish-brown, muddy, or dark gray color, and was reportedly oily and slick. It had 3 distinct protrusions or horns on its head. Most terrifying, its eyes were huge, solid red, and unblinking, fixed on them in a look of profound fear and injury. The creature made no noise. It simply appeared to be wounded, moving erratically and profoundly out of place. The girls fled in terror, believing they had encountered the devil or something far worse. Their testimony was immediate, consistent, and given before the media circus even began. Their honesty and immediate trauma convinced key local investigators, providing a civilian confirmation that something non-human was indeed roaming the local environment. The hours following the girl's sighting saw the Brazilian military activate a full-scale retrieval operation that local researchers describe as unparalleled in its speed and secrecy. According to multiple accounts, the Brazilian Army's ESA, Esquadrão de Serviços de Apoio, unit was deployed. Eyewitnesses reported seeing unmarked military trucks and jeeps swarming the area, often driven by personnel wearing what appeared to be chemical protection suits. The goal was clearly to contain and capture any remaining entities. It's claimed that the military ultimately recovered a second creature from a nearby field, this time healthy and fully mobile. This operation was allegedly led by Colonel Ardilias, who remains a deeply controversial figure in this case. The highest level of credibility for the physical presence of the beings came from individuals working in the local hospital system. On the night of January 20th and into the 21st, two entities were allegedly transported to a local hospital for examination. Dr. Fortunato Reis, a prominent figure in the medical community, later spoke out, confirming that he had been contacted by military officials who requested secure, isolated facilities. The most disturbing testimony came from nurses and staff who claimed to have seen one of the captured creatures, still alive, being treated. Their descriptions matched the girl's accounts: small, reddish-brown with large red eyes. A source identified only as a nurse in the official inquiry claimed that the creature suffered a rapid decline. Due to its injuries and lack of a terrestrial immune system, it was allegedly transported to a military facility where it died shortly thereafter. The immediate and total denial by the Brazilian military is the central pivot of the Varginha mystery. Their response was the classic textbook cover-up. The Brazilian Army's official line has always been that the whole incident was a case of mass hysteria and misidentification. They claimed the young girls had simply seen a homeless, mentally ill man squatting in the field. This explanation was immediately rejected by the locals, who knew the man and noted the profound discrepancies in the description. Despite the official denial, the story was kept alive by persistent leaks from within the military and medical communities. Military personnel and firemen, often anonymously, contacted UFO researchers, sharing details of the capture and transportation. Many of these sources claimed that they were subjected to immediate and intense pressure, threats, and sometimes even financial incentives to remain silent. The case took a darker, more tragic turn with the death of Sergeant Marco Eli Cherese, a military policeman allegedly involved in the creature's direct capture. Cherese died on February 15, 1996, less than a month after this incident. The official cause of death was infection and pneumonia, a common occurrence. However, researchers noted that his symptoms were bizarre: a sudden, powerful, and total system shutdown resulting from a massive unknown infection. UFO investigators immediately theorized that Cherese had succumbed to a non-terrestrial contamination from his close physical contact with the recovered being. The timing and the unusual nature of his death provided a chilling final piece of evidence for those who believed the recovery was real and that the military had concealed a grave biological threat. The Varginha incident remains one of the most frustrating and compelling cases of alleged extraterrestrial contact in modern history. The facts, stripped of sensationalism, are these. In January 1996, multiple independent witnesses reported a damaged UAP and encountered a small, strange, non-human entity with red eyes and oily brown skin. An unprecedented military mobilization followed, leading to the alleged recovery of multiple beings, which were then transported to local hospitals and later military bases. The subsequent death of a military serviceman involved in the recovery points to a severe, unacknowledged risk. Why did the official story fail? because the consistency of the witnesses, from teenage girls to seasoned military firemen to hospital personnel, made the mentally ill homeless man explanation simply unbelievable. The Brazilian government, like the U.S. government with Roswell, has issued its denial, but the evidence of a massive coordinated effort to clean up an undeniable event, including the recovery of non-human bodies, is far too strong to dismiss as mere folklore. The Varginha incident is a clear warning. If a retrieval event happens, the knowledge of non-human entities will not be shared openly, and those who know the truth will be silenced. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode of The Weekly Strange. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new uploads. And if you really like the content I'm creating, please consider joining the channel as a member, and you get access to some pretty cool perks. I will see you in a few days with another episode of The Weekly Strange. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Good night.